Hello and welcome to all the judicious minds out there. I hope you're as excited as I am for this e-session. Well, before we begin with the topic, that is punctuation here, I'd like to brief you about two bases of English, that are alphabet and punctuation. Alphabet, might have heard the word mispronounced as alphabets, which is incorrect. Alphabet is a collective noun which is nothing but a group of letters that are 26 in number from A to Z. So the first base is alphabet, the second base is punctuation, which are nothing but a group of symbols. A meaningful language is possible only when the marriage of these two, that are alphabet and punctuation, happens harmoniously. So if these two are not put properly together, then the language English defiles. So what are punctuation marks here? Let us see its definition here. Punctuation are marks used in writing and typing to separate sentences and clauses. Sometimes punctuation marks are used to separate sentences and clauses, and sometimes, some other times, to help make the meaning of sentences clear. So if the sentence has to be meaningful, then the use of punctuation marks becomes mandate. So let us get to know the different types of punctuation marks that are quite important for us academically. The first one here is apostrophe. Apostrophe, as you all see here, is an elevated comma. It is a punctuation mark used to indicate either possession, possession here means belongingness, or the omission of letter or letters. So it is used in two different places. One, to use it is used to show belongingness or possession, and the other when the letter or letters are omitted, removed in the word. So let us understand it in a better fashion with few examples that are there. Examples for possession, belongingness: when we say mine, your, yours, but with the help of proper noun or a noun, how does that happen? Example for possession: Namita's pen is missing. So you can see here apostrophe is used after the name Namita. If the word is singular, then after the name it has to be used and then followed by S. So Namita's pen is missing. Next up, if the word is plural noun, that is ending with S, after the S is what apostrophe has to be used. So Teachers' Day is celebrated on the 15th of September. So here teachers is a plural noun. So apostrophe has to be put after the term teachers. Thirdly, Charles' book was on the table. You, you can take note of this term Charles here. There are few words in English, even though they are singular, they end with the letter S. In such cases, apostrophe is used after es, and there is no need of another s here. So there are these terms like Francis, Charles, Suhas, Prabhas, etc., for which apostrophe is used after s and there is no need of another s. This is during this is when singular nouns end with s. And finally, Plural noun ending without an s. Sometimes there are few plural terms such as children, people, sheep, etc. So for these terms which do not end with s, one has to use the word, then apostrophe, and then followed by s. So Children's Day is celebrated on the 14th of November. So here after the word children, apostrophe has to be placed. This is the first part of apostrophe, that is, it is used to show possession or belongingness. Let us understand how it is used when a letter is omitted, when the letter is not used in a word. Example, Neha ma'am teaches chemistry. So madam is shortened by removing D from it. You might have written all this while MAM for ma'am, which is incorrect. The correct term is MA apostrophe AM. So D is omitted here. So MA AM, between MA and AM apostrophe has to be put. So Neha ma'am teaches chemistry is what the word is, ma'am. So here single letter is omitted. Let us see how it is used when multiple letters are omitted. Honorable is the word. HON apostrophe BLE. So Honorable Prime Minister is the most senior member of cabinet. Here please note the letters OURA are omitted. So HON, OURA are the letters that are omitted. So HON apostrophe is placed and then BLE. This is what we have to write as a shortened form of honorable. So I hope you have understood apostrophe. Apostrophes are used, apostrophe is used in two different places, that is possession, to show possession, and to omit a letter. Omit a letter, here two examples are given, ma'am, honorable. There are some other examples like didn't, couldn't, shouldn't, isn't, etc., where a letter or two are missed. Moving further, parenthesis. Parenthesis is nothing but brackets here. A word, a pair of round brackets, that is here it's given round brackets, used to mark off a parenthetical word or a phrase. Parenthetical word or phrase means, parenthetical means which is nothing but an additional information. So a word or a phrase which is provided as an additional information here. For example, Lord Rama was an obedient son is a sentence. So whatever is put into the brackets is an additional information. So here Lord Rama, into brackets the content is put here, the protagonist of Ramayana. So the lead character of Ramayana is what it means. Why is parenthesis used usually? So it is usually used to provide an additional information to the word that is not known to many universally. So Lord Rama in Hindu scriptures, the Lord Rama, that is in Hindu scripture Ramayana, he happens to be the lead character, but universally some may not know Lord Rama. So in such cases the information has to be put into brackets. Next up, colon. A punctuation mark, that is two dots here you can see, a punctuation mark used to precede a list of items, a dialogue, or a definition. So punctuation mark colon here is used in three different instances here. When a list of items has to be introduced, it is used. For example, here colon is highlighted in red and underlined here. You can see after citrus fruits. Citrus fruits, so a list of items here, lemon, orange, mosambi, etc. are immunity boosters. So how do you use colon here? After the term citrus fruits. Citrus fruits, lemon, orange, mosambi, etc. are immunity boosters. So this is items, list of items, followed by dialogue. When a dialogue has to be uttered, colon has to be placed after the character and before the dialogue. Here the dialogue goes as this. These are the lines of Romeo. Good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow. So you can see colon used after the character's name and before the dialogue. And finally, before the definition and after the term physics, it is used. So when a definition has to be written after a word, colon has to be used. Most of you use colon and a hyphen or only a hyphen, which is incorrect. Only colon has to be used. So this is all about colon. Excuse me. Next up, exclamation. A punctuation mark used after a word, a phrase, or a sentence which expresses intense emotions, deep emotions. So these are the examples. If it is a word, then it has to be the punctuation mark exclamation has to be used after the word itself, not after the sentence. If it is a word, hooray, we won the match. So exclamation has to be used soon after the word hooray here. If it is a whole phrase, what a wonderful view. If it is uttered in intense emotion, then after the phrase is what it has to be used. And finally, if it is a sentence, then it has to be used after the sentence. I have had it with your lies. Here, the sentence is used in deep emotion of anger, so exclamation is put after the sentence. So I hope you have understood exclamation here. Moving further, very important ones, these are quotation marks, or it is also called as inverted commas. The symbols that are put around a word or a phrase to show that someone else has written or said those particular lines. Examples. This is an example of direct speech here. Manish said, this, the whole sentence has to be put into single inverted comma. Single inverted comma because it is a direct speech. Manish said, into single inverted commas, the case is far from over. So this is a direct speech which demands single inverted commas. Whereas quotations are concerned, if you borrow a quotation of someone, here Indira Gandhi's quotation is borrowed, in such cases double inverted commas is what we need to use. For example, you cannot shake hands with a clenched fist, I quote and unquote. So this is how you need to use inverted commas as far as borrowing is concerned. The other use of quotation marks or inverted commas here is it is used the symbols that are put around a word or phrase to highlight or emphasize it. So if a word or a phrase has to be highlighted in the sentence, these are put around. For example, the first content of PU2 English textbook is Romeo and Juliet. So in the whole sentence, the very important part or phrase or a word is the title Romeo and Juliet. So it has to be put into inverted commas. Why single inverted comma is because we follow British English, and in British English, except for quotation, if the word has to be highlighted, if the phrase has to be highlighted, if direct speech is used, for all of this, inverted comma, that is single inverted commas, are used, whereas for quotation, double inverted commas are used. There are few points that are to be remembered here. In America, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, double inverted commas are used for direct speeches. So you just have already witnessed single inverted commas was were used around direct speech, but whereas in these countries, double inverted commas are used around direct speech. This is one distinction. Second point to remember, single inverted commas are used to mark speech within the speech. In British English, if the quotation is used of a particular person, the whole quotation has to be put into single inverted comma. In cases as this, wherein a quotation has another quotation within, so the internal quotation should be put into double inverted commas, and the whole quotation has to be put into single inverted comma. Please pay attention here. Gandhi's four principles: truth, non-violence, service, and Swaraj, are the pillars of his political organization. This is said by Nelson Mandela, so the whole quotation has to be put into single inverted comma, whereas the phrase used here, truth, non-violent service, and Swaraj, is borrowed by Gandhi. These are the Gandhi's terms, so these are put into double inverted commas. Moving further, another very important point to note: full stop must be put or placed inside the inverted commas if it is a quotation. Please pay attention here. If it is a quotation, full stop must be put inside, should be placed inside the inverted commas after the sentence ends. But whereas if it is a word or a phrase or a direct speech, full stop must be put or placed outside the inverted commas. Here example, Manish said the case is far from over. So the case is far from over is put into single inverted commas, and after which full stop is used. So these are some points to be remembered as far as quotation marks or inverted commas are concerned. Except full stop, or we also call it period, dot, we call it with all these terms, a punctuation mark used at the end of a sentence, shortened words, or in an abbreviated terms. Examples: this first example is for the end of a sentence. We all know this example, this usage. The sun rises in the east. So after the sentence is written, full stop is put. No brainers for this. Second example, Teachers' Day is celebrated on the 5th of September. Here September is shortened. So in the definition you have already seen, full stop or a period is used with shortened words. So September is shortened to SEPT. So after T, dot has to be put. And finally, with the abbreviation. Abbreviation is nothing but the first letters of the group of words is called as abbreviation. So here, member of legislative assembly is shortened and abbreviated to MLA, the first letters of the group of words. So for these abbreviated terms, full stop or point or period has to be used after the letters. So the M, L, A, M dot L dot A dot is preparing to visit his constituency. This is how it is used. Please note here, this is very important. In British English, you don't have to indicate an abbreviation with a full stop after the abbreviation when the last letter is the same as the abbreviated word. What does this mean is very simple. Here in the second example, SEPT is a shortened term or an abbreviated term. S is the first letter, T is the last letter in the shortened word. But there are some instances where abbreviation is done or shortening of word is done as this. There are these words called Dr., Mr., Mrs., Miss, wherein the first letter and the last letter are used. In such cases, as far as British English is concerned, that we follow, dot should not be put after doctor, which is incorrect. We always have seen people incorrectly using this. The correct usage is dr without dot. Doctor, it means Mr. Mr, Mrs. Mrs, no dot. Miss Ms, that's it. No need of dot. If we place dot, that is incorrect in British English that we use. Dots are used after abbreviation as these words in American English, not in British English. So please do not use dot after the shortened terms as these. You can use dot for the shortened terms like September here, SEPT. Dot, you can use it with Shri, SHRI dot, which is the shortened term of Shriman. SMT dot you can use, which is the shortened term of Srimati. So for those wherein the first letter and the last letter are not picked, for such you can use for the words like these, Dr., Mr., Mrs., Miss, one should not use a dot or a period or a full stop. I hope you have understood this particular session. I hope the explanation was beneficial enough. Please go through the video again and again, and you shall, I vouch on this fact that you shall be benefited with this. Thank you for your patient listening. For any query, please get back to us through reliable sources, valid sources. Thank you guys. Have a good day.